Recently released documents connected to the Jeffrey Epstein investigation have drawn renewed attention because they contain allegations that had not been publicly known before. According to reports, these documents include summaries of FBI interviews with a woman who claims she had encounters involving Epstein when she was younger. Some of the interview summaries also reference allegations involving Donald Trump. However, it is important to emphasize that these claims are described as unverified allegations, meaning they have not been proven in court and are not confirmed evidence. The release of these documents has sparked political debate and media coverage because of the high-profile individuals mentioned. Legal experts often note that documents included in investigative files can contain statements made during interviews, but their presence in those files does not automatically confirm that the events occurred. The situation highlights how complex and sensitive investigations related to the Epstein case continue to be.
Newly released documents that were missing from the Epstein files contain serious unverified allegations against President Trump.
In the first release of documents related to the Epstein investigation, only a limited number of interview summaries were made public. One of those memos included statements from a woman who claimed she had been abused by Jeffrey Epstein. At that time, the released document focused only on allegations related to Epstein himself. Later, additional interview summaries were released that contained further details from the same individual. The fact that these documents appeared in separate batches raised questions among journalists and lawmakers about why some materials were not included in the earlier release. Situations like this often happen during large investigations when agencies review documents for privacy issues, legal restrictions, or sensitive information before making them public. The delayed release of additional interview summaries has fueled public discussion about transparency in the handling of the Epstein files and whether the full set of records connected to the investigation has been made available.
And initially only one memo was released in that initial batch of documents released by the Justice Department, and that was an interview where she made allegations against Jeffrey Epstein, but not against.
Following the release of the interview summaries, the White House responded by strongly rejecting the accusations mentioned in the documents. Officials described the claims as completely baseless and said there is no credible evidence supporting them. Former President Donald Trump has repeatedly denied any wrongdoing connected to the allegations referenced in the Epstein-related files. Political figures and legal analysts often emphasize that accusations appearing in investigative documents do not automatically mean that the claims are proven. In many cases, investigators collect statements from different individuals as part of their fact-finding process. Those statements are documented, even if they later remain unverified or unsupported by evidence. Because the case involves high-profile individuals and a major international scandal connected to Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking network, any new document release quickly becomes a topic of national debate. The White House position remains that the allegations mentioned in the interview summaries are false.
That President Trump has consistently denied any wrongdoing. In a statement yesterday, the White House described these allegations as, quote, completely baseless, backed by zero credible evidence.
The controversy surrounding the Epstein files has also moved into the political arena in Washington. Members of the House Oversight Committee voted to issue a subpoena to Attorney General Pam Bondi in order to obtain testimony about how the Justice Department handled the release of documents related to the case. Lawmakers want answers about several issues, including how certain documents were processed, why some information was withheld, and whether proper procedures were followed when releasing the files to the public. Congressional subpoenas are a common investigative tool used by lawmakers when they want government officials to explain their decisions or provide additional records. In this situation, the subpoena reflects growing bipartisan frustration in Congress regarding the management of the Epstein documents. Lawmakers say transparency is important, particularly because the case involves alleged trafficking networks and powerful individuals who may have been connected to Epstein.
As the Trump White House continues to shrug off the scandal, Congress is pushing ahead, voting to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi. The subpoena to testify stems from the House Oversight Committee's investigation into the Epstein files and
one of the most notable political developments in this situation is that members of both major parties supported the effort to subpoena Attorney General Pam Bondi. In the House Oversight Committee vote, several Republican lawmakers joined Democrats in favor of requiring Bondi to testify. This type of bipartisan action is relatively uncommon in highly polarized political environments, which is why the vote attracted significant media attention. Lawmakers supporting the subpoena say they want clarity about how the Justice Department handled the Epstein files and why some documents were released while others were delayed or heavily redacted. Another issue being discussed involves reports that some documents may have exposed sensitive information about victims. Congressional investigators say they want to understand exactly how these mistakes occurred and whether the document review process was handled properly. The hearing could potentially provide new details about the government's management of the Epstein case records.
Members of the president's own party, yes, 5 Republicans on the key House Oversight Committee, defying their chairman and joining with Democrats